guys, welcome to Nine Links. This is your host Alex. Just want to give you an update. I moved most of my plants. Well, let's say today is October 30th. So it's once every year. Once it gets down to close to end of October, most of my plants usually will be moved inside already. Right now there are two plants still outside. One of the fig and night blooming jasmine. The reason being is that night blooming jasmine still has some flower left on there. It probably won't bloom anymore. So I wait till those flowers gets up and weather. Probably in the next few days, it's gonna go below freezing point. I'll be moving it in too. Probably the end of today. We'll see. Today is pretty bright and shiny out there, sunny out there. Okay, all right, let's check it out. So as you can see here, I got the white champaga in here. And this year it's been blooming like crazy. And right now you can still see some of the blooms still up there, flowers still coming out. And now when I move this one to the basement, the thing about the flower is that it doesn't have enough sunlight and outside temperature to drive the flower into more fragrant mode. So the flower blooms, you have to get close to it to smell it. And so it's not that strong. And also, every time when after flower bloom right away, it turns brownish. Well, not brownish. It's kind of like this. It basically turns like this, and it falls off easily if you touch it. So I think it's a sign that plant is going into a dormant. So it's kind of trying to release as much flower as possible, and then save the energy back in. So what I mean by releasing the flower means they don't put out new flower buds. For all the existing flower buds, they'll try to, I guess some people call it, just blast them off, and they fall off easily. Like when I have this plant outside, the flower usually lasts about a week, and when it first blooms, the flower, you can see the petals on the flower, so very strong. But for these guys, the petals, like you can touch it, it just starts fall off. So it's not that strong. It's very weak. Like for example, these are very new flower. But I'm pretty sure given a few days, it will turn brown. Like you can probably see right here, the tips are already starting to turn a little bit brownish. So it's normal. I like this one here, perfect example. You see, it's turning like this. I think it has to do with the not getting enough moisture. Also, like outside air in general, inside the basement, inside the house tend to be a bit dry for the plants. It won't hurt them, but at the same time, you combine the dryness, combine the temperature change, combine the less sunlight. It still, gets sunlight. Of course, if it doesn't get sunlight, it will die. Anyway, still get a bit of sunlight to survive. So that's how I winter the white champaga. Now you can see on the floor, these are the flower petals. They dropped. They turn from, I told you before, white champaga's leaf turn from white to red. So all these little red flower petals. Now the funny thing is, if I vacuum this, it'll put out a fragrance, and it smells really good. But anyway, I don't do that. I just pick them up and throw back into the container for its compost. Okay, and that's for my white champaga. And also, as you can see, it's grow a lot taller than the year before that. So every year it's getting bigger. So I don't know, next year I might have to do something. So as you can see on top, I did a pruning last time, just took off the top, the leader, and so it's easier to carry in, and also met my height requirement down here in the basement. But anyway, that's for the white champaga. And now we're going over here. That's my Cymbidiums here. Remember that one was outside, and one of the flower spike, well, not called flower spike anymore, flower stem broke off because the last time it was very windy out there, and somehow it got too much weight on top and it fell down a little bit, and one of the flower stalk got bent, so I cut it off. And it's doing okay down here. Cymbidiums usually don't get much sunlight. This one requires a lot of sunlight, but over the winter they don't require much sunlight. So I'm gonna just let it bloom, and once it's supposed to be 4 stalks, and like I said, I cut one off. So I'm probably gonna wait till these guys stop blooming and cut them off to save them energy and give them time to recover and sleep. I mean, dormant over the winter. So when the next spring comes, I'm probably gonna repot this. As you can see, I show you on the other videos. This one, it's already, roots coming out and everything. Yes, typically you want Cymbidium to be root bound, but once it becomes way too root bound, you want to give it a little bit more breathing room, potting into a little bigger pots. And now let's go to the Jasmine. Jasmine made of New Orleans. I did a pruning around it. So if you look down from the top, it's kind of like, let's see, let me move this white champagas out of the way. Okay, so all around it's still blooming, and I cut a lot of off and gave some to my neighbors for propagation. I don't know if she will do it or not. I mean, if she will successfully do it, I think it should be fine. Jasmines are easy to propagate. Anyway, and put some bug track down there just in case you have a fungus gnat dormant in there and hitchhikers. With plant being all these plants brought indoor, I'll guarantee they always have hitchhiker bugs in there. But it just give them time. We'll eventually get into the trap. As you can see over there by the trap, here, let me show you. You can probably see there are some bugs on there already. Moths, and I don't even know how to get in. Oh, those just white champaga leaves, not leaves, but flower petals on there. Anyway, all right, we'll go to the next over here. As you kind of noticed, my little what I call a quote greenhouse. It's a little bit more crowded this year with all the plants getting bigger. And anyway, this is orange jasmine. As you can see, it's still getting some morning sunlight. All plants need sunlight and water, period. So when they are dormant over winter in your basement, as long as you give some sunlight, they will survive over the winter and will be fine. Okay, there you go. It's still, you can see it's still putting out flower buds, and some of the older ones has already formed seeds. You can see over here the flower buds are slowly turning brown, is dying off, and you can see over here that's a bunch of seeds right there. I'm probably gonna cut those off too. I'm probably gonna come down here and do a little bit pruning on the seeds and stuff, because I don't need those seeds, and also they don't need to put extra nutrients, extra energy into growing those. All right, let's go to the next room. Okay, all right, from this one. Now, as you can see, neem trees right here, and then we have sweet olive. This one is, I think, this one is scarlet, sweet olive. Is it scarlet? Oh, yes, they kind of about the same size. Scarlet, and you can see all my propagation stuff out there on the side. They don't require much sunlight, and another sweet olive. I put all sweet olives kind of in the front area because sweet olive tend to handle the cold pretty well. Once it gets further into the winter, temperature will usually drop below, sometimes it goes below 15 degrees, below zero. So it's very cold. Sweet olive loves cold weather, and as you can see, let me get closer. You see these all new shoots coming out. They, like I said before with the sweet olive video, sweet olive tend to grow in the cold period of fall season. That's when they bloom too. And let me see if I can get you to look at this flower right here. Do you see these flowers? So this one is actually silver sweet olive. It's blooming, and you can see all these flower buds right down here. It's forming too. So there are a lot of flower buds coming out on the side too. So again, sweet olive blooms around October, November. Usually, well, if you live in a region, think of this way: it blooms around big temperature swing, means hot and cold, hot and cold. So they don't bloom summer because summer is constantly humid and hot. Anyway, all these plants kind of crowded here, so you guys have to make it out. Let's see if this is Phalaenopsis orchid. As you can see, it's kind of crazy. It's putting out 2 more new shoots, new flower spikes. I don't know how that come about, but hey, it's all good. Okay, and this one I have a jasmine planted in there with orchids. Now, one thing I do want to point out that you probably noticed, I have a jasmine over there with the orchid, and over here I have jasmine with the pepper. You can see the peppers really. I don't eat spicy stuff anymore, but it's still coming out like crazy. The reason sometimes I think, now just my personal opinion, okay, like for this one, these two, they probably fight each other for nutrients. They both are strong type of a plant. Jasmine are very, very, what should I say, strong, very, very, what should I say, it's not easy to kill. They grow really well in any environment. So is the pepper, and pepper grows a lot, and you don't see the pepper roots, but I did it before. I opened up one, and roots are very strong, so they both are fighting. I'm pretty sure they're fighting each other for nutrients down there, but which I provide them enough, so it should be fine. Now over here, the reason I did the orchids and the jasmine together is sometimes, well, most of the time, orchids, these kind of orchids and this kind of potting mix, they get root rot easily. So I want to divert the water to two plants instead of one. So that means both plants gonna get water, and the jasmine use up water pretty fast, faster than the orchid. And that way it creates a very healthy root system. So the orchid can survive and the jasmine has the water to drink. So they both survive pretty well. We'll see how that goes. It's still a ongoing project, as you can see. Oh, and this little one, don't worry about that one. That one's just I pruned the sweet olive. I just put it in there, see if it works. And so far it's not dying yet. It's just a little brown. Anyway, now back over here, another Cymbidium. That's a Cymbidium Tianxiang. Tianxiang is doing very well. I'm pretty sure by next spring, next summer, it's bloom time in summertime. So it will bloom for sure. And the Tianxiang is way more fragrant than the earlier Cymbidium I show you, the Ruby Chan. Tianxiang's bloom kind of like, it's very, very clean and very white, and the fragrance is stronger than the white champaga, and it's more pleasing than white champaga. Now you probably ask me, how do you know if your plants haven't bloomed yet? Well, when I back in my childhood time in China, I have grandparents who love growing Cymbidium. So first hand off, yes. And another thing is that the cultivar I have here is actually the best one in the family of what my grandparents used to collect. So this one is gonna be way better than them. Anyway, okay, so you have a sweet olive over here, and then you have these Logan trees, I think, over here. They're still growing, which is kind of like just throw on the side. And then this banana shrub over here. And now you probably ask me, is this the final placement? You're gonna have your plants like that? And or is there a reason you position them in a certain way? I'm pretty sure that's not the final setup. The reason being is the sunlight changes over time. I will move them around a little bit more, but not much. I do know, like, from my perspective, the priority that I put by the window, which area has the most sunlight, is the center right here. When the light shines from that side, it gets over here and then slowly moves over here. So the center gets the most sunlight. So if you want to do the, I don't know if you call it calculation or anything. So the priority I put on top of the priority is the ones that actually continue to grow over the winter. That does not require much sunlight. Now these are typically sweet olives, Cymbidiums, Chinese perfume trees, and Phalaenopsis orchids. These guys don't require much sunlight, and they will grow slowly, but effectively. Like you probably look at the Phalaenopsis orchid, they're actually putting up flower spikes, so it's kind of weird. Anyway, now for the plants that requires a lot of sunlight, like figs, banana shrub, like Logan, since I think this is Logan plants, and neem trees, I typically put them on the side. Reason being is, if they're gonna require a lot of sunlight, even if I put them in the middle, it's not gonna be effective for them. So if I put it on the side, give it a little sunlight, they'll go into dormant. So I'm pretty sure I'm expecting these figs to drop their leaves over the winter, and all the leaves will be gone. Well, I mean, plus the fruit. That one is, I think it's time to eat too. We ate about 15 already, 15 plus already. So anyway, these guys will drop their leaves. As you can see, I already collect a lot of leaves from the banana shrub. You see these leaves are turning yellow. Quite a few of them actually. I took quite a few down already. So they're turning yellow and they'll drop off. It's natural. So don't be don't be surprised. And on the side, just want to show you, these are jasmine and night blooming jasmine cuttings, and just put some fly traps over there for catch fungus gnats. And that's about it. Guys, have any questions, just post it down below. And all right, take care. We'll see you next time.